next guest, yes, we've got a lot to talk about. From Air New Zealand's electric, you heard right, cargo plane, facing delays thanks to a myriad of hurdles, while at the same time sustainable aviation fuel is gaining momentum. Australia is investing heavily and Kiwi industry leaders are urging New Zealand to keep pace. We're going to talk cybersecurity. It's in the spotlight after European airports were hit by a cyber attack. And also on the regional front, Jetstar's expanding out of Hamilton with flights not just to Sydney and the Gold Coast, but soon Christchurch. So we're going to talk about all of this with aviation commentator Irene King. Irene, it is good to chat again. Hello.
Hello there.
We're strap in. It's about to get turbulent. No, sorry. We've just got a lot to talk about, that's all. Let's start with Air New Zealand's plan to launch electric cargo flights between Wellington and Blenheim next year, Irene. That's been delayed with its battery-powered aircraft now not expected to arrive, I think, until 2027, costing, $6.5 million, dubbed the Tesla of the air. Still requires approval from both the US Federal Aviation Administration and our CAA. So you've said, though, Irene, that this delay is no surprise to you. What made you say that?
Not at all. I mean, this is new, untested technology in a commercial context. Now, there have been prototypes flying, but that's a different issue. I think what people are beginning to understand about the electric technology is that potentially it's just as inefficient as what we have had in the past.
Yeah.
While it doesn't pollute the environment directly, there are other unintended consequences associated with it.
Yeah.
And we had the specialist wizards from Pratt & Whitney talking to us last week at an aviation conference, and it's very clear that we might see electric hybrid like we do with cars.
Oh, yeah.
But full electric, it is the least preferred option, and sustainable aviation fuels or hydrogen, certainly, that's where the investment and that's where the technology is going, as well as making what we presently have more efficient.
Yeah. So when you heard that the plane was described as Tesla of the skies, did you think it was hype, or could it eventually live up to that label? Does it want to be the Tesla of the skies?
I don't even think it's going to be a viable option in the skies. And a lot of that's to do with there are much better options emerging. Like I say, there might be some hybrids floating around, but really, the whole regime around aircraft and aircraft certification is far more complicated than on the ground. And you would expect that as well.
Of course. Yeah. And you have said too that this certification, will take some time. And what about, is there concerns like with electric cars, batteries, charging, lithium, all that safety? I mean, are they issues?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's not just the infrastructure on the ground, it's flying around with batteries. Now, I understand that battery technology is emerging and changing so that potentially they are de-risked a bit. But it's still the management of the fuel systems and the robustness of the fuel systems is, it's really questionable. It's one thing to run out of oof on the ground. Yeah. It's very different to not have the oof in the air
at 30,000 feet or whatever.
Very different. Yeah.
No.
Very different.
Hey, we're going to stay with it, with this theme of fuel or getting the planes in the air, because Australia's announced a 1.1 billion Australian dollars, real money, investment to boost production of their sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. Now this has sparked calls for New Zealand to act quickly or risk falling behind. So leaders such as Boeing, Airbus, Z Energy and NZ Airports says Australia's move strengthens fuel security. So what does this put it into layman's terms for us? What is this a game changer, Irene?
Really significant stuff. But again, it's it's around the infrastructure and the investment in the infrastructure. Now, Australia just has more robust ability to invest in infrastructure. In New Zealand's a small economy. But the good thing is every dollar that Australia spends on SAF is a dollar that is really important to New Zealand, because sustainable aviation fuels is likely to be one way that in the most effective way of mitigating engine discharges. So it is a really good substitute. That we do need a lot of investment. We haven't got the plant necessarily here, although I understand Marsden Point has been looked at. And it's really about, what products do you burn or use? Now, I understand that Fonterra might have a really robust solution as well with some of the stuff that it currently has to dispose of.
Oh.
And so, there are some really cool options starting to emerge for New Zealand. But New Zealand doesn't have the luxury of getting confused about what it's going to invest in. You either invest in this technology or that technology.
Right.
And the fact that Australia has made the decision to go into this type of technology, I think we should be really hooking up onto their coattails and saying, let's develop an Australasian solution for this, because SAF is very expensive at the moment, but anything that gives us better fuel security, you've got a trade-off between the two. And at the moment, we have no SAF and no fuel security. So we're kind of out there and exposed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, on the outside looking in. So it is. So you're saying that it is an opportunity that we should have a collaboration with.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the government's new fuel action plan certainly talks extensively about it. So, I think it's not if, it's when. Whereas with electricity, with these other aircraft, I think it's more problematic, and I'm a skeptic anyway of that.
No.
Yeah, I have to declare that up front.
Yes, be honest. All right, so Air New Zealand's got itself a major new maintenance base in Auckland Airport. Just for the listeners, check out the size of this. It's a hangar 4. Sounds like a new nightclub. It's a 10,000 metre squared, 35 metre high, nearly 100 metre wide structure. It's the largest single-span timber arch aircraft hangar in the Southern Hemisphere. I mean, this is huge. And besides being, it'll be phenomenal to look at. What does this mean, Irene, for Air New Zealand's maintenance capabilities and efficiency?
Well, it means obviously that they can put more aircraft into the hangar and work on more aircraft in that environment. And quite frankly, their aircraft need to be hangared to be worked on. But, potentially if they wish to, and I'm not certain that they are going down this track, they can start to reinvigorate some of the investment in export engineering. Now, we used to be world leading in that area, in specialist bits and pieces of engineering, and then we sort of dropped off completely. Now, this hangar improves our ability to compete effectively in that area, plus, of course, improve the efficiency of engineering maintenance here in New Zealand. And it's all about, getting these aircraft turned around quickly and safely, obviously.
And just to get a real kind of feeling for how big it is, apparently it can hold a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner and two A320 20s at once.
Yeah. I mean, when you fly out of Auckland or into it's an impressive structure, as I've watched it being built. And it's very, very impressive and long overdue. I mean, it's interesting because it's used, a lot of wood in it, which is, whereas, most hangars would be built with steel, but this one is built with wood, and it's got a lot of different eco-sustainability features in it, which, you know, is reflective of the Air New Zealand brand and where
I was just about to say that, yeah. Gosh, I'd hate to think what it costs, but anyway. Hey, do you think this kind of
you don't put the dollar in it.
yeah, we don't know. Do you think this kind of investment, though, Irene, signals where Air New Zealand sees the future of its operations and fleet?